Welcome once again. Thank you all the participants. Now, today's our guest is Dr. Shivendra Kharari. He is a modern medicine doctor and he is the learner of homeopathy. He is a student of homeopathy for 23 years, last 23 years. So, I'm inviting him.
No,
He's not a fine,
not
right?
only a learner, he's a qualified BHMS doctor also.
Yeah, I know. It's BHMS too, but what I'm telling, after becoming an allopathic doctor, he is showing more interest in homeopathy for studying homeopathy. That is the thing I mentioned. I know he's a BHMS doctor too. And has he joined, sir? Sir?
Yeah, he has joined.
Okay.
Dr. S. Kharari.
Yes. Okay. And today's our topic is about Sepia. Sir, please welcome to our session. We are inviting you to start.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry being late a bit. So my today's topic is perceiving sepia. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible, sir.
Thank you. So I'm Dr. S. Kharari. Today I am going to throw some light on perceiving sepia in a very different perspective. So just as we know that the essential principles that underlie different manifestations of any remedy, that will be reflected by most outstanding characteristics of that particular medicine, and that essential principles run through the whole remedy. So sepia, what we say that the key symptoms are very important. Stasis is one of the theme is sepia status on all level. Stasis on all level, it's very chilly, uh, occupied, and the violent exertion, amelioration. These are the things. These are the very outstanding characteristic of sepia, and bearing down effort like sensation. These are the characteristic symptoms uh, which constitute this most outstanding characteristic. And when we run through the sepia, these that the stasis on mental, physical, and emotional level, it runs through. So uh, same thing, these kind of key symptoms will unfold the mental, physical, and pharmacodynamic function also. So the way how we are going to perceive sepia, that we will just have a focus on the evolution of sepia. Just it is a mollusk. It's a phylum mollusk. This is the candidate of phylum mollusk. And the primitive, we were knowing about the oyster. Oyster means calcarea, from where we extract calcarea car as our very dominant antisoric medicine. And after oyster there is snails. After that sepia succus, we say. sepia um, Sepia is the one of the most evolutionized mollusks. So what happens when evolution takes place? When we are thinking about oyster, there is a passivity that is very much immobile. There is no locomotion. It just stuck to a place and just open for some times and closes its window. But here what happens, oyster, there is a facility for rapid locomotion. Rapid locomotion. It has the capacity to run fast, swim fast, catch the prey, and while catching the prey, is having a very rapid speed while focusing on its prey. So what happens from passivity to this dynamicity of cuttlefish, that will later on say that what will happen when the things will be obstructed, when its instinct will be obstructed. Okay. So what happens to the oyster cell? First we will see the primitive form. What does it reflects? Oyster cells encloses the organs, that is undifferentiated organ, not very much differentiated organs, and that provides a resistance to the infection from outside, all kind of infection, all kind of toxicity, all kind of dangers. Okay. And at the same time it is countering overflow of inside, that is the fluid in which it is suspended. And when this fails, what happens that the overflow of inside fluid is under a pressure. It wants to go out of the body, but still that cell encloses it, and that's the same cell protects it from the outward infections, whatever bacteria, viruses, toxins, and everything. So when this enclosures, when this protection fails, what happens? Susceptibility is there. Susceptibility is there, and susceptibility multifolds towards infection, exudation. Okay. So the same kind of phenomena happens in the human body. Suppose we take an example of skull. A skull is there initially there is slow process of evolution of formation of brain, that gets differentiated very slowly and slowly and slowly. Okay. And at the same time, and later on, that brain will mm, make us a human being. The human being means that the human being which is having light and wisdom, the power of thinking about the good and bad, right or wrong, that will be determined by that. At the same, next organ, I want to tell you about uterus of the females. Uterus of the females, where the lively fetus grow from the embryonic stage, from zygote and all, embryo forms, and slow differentiation is there, and their life is formed inside the uterus. So the same kind of reflection is there. We can mark that the similar kind of enclosure is there, and the process of motherhood takes place in the uterus. That point is to be noted, that the process of motherhood takes place in the uterus. So this is why the sepia which is in sepia reflects that is indicated more in the females than males. That the ratio is 10:1. The next is that dynamics expression of sepia. The activity is there, dynamicity is there. It has locomotory organs, it has the fins, it has the tentacles, it has the siphons. Siphonic mechanism propels it further, and it gives it speed. Okay. So it is expansive and extroversion, unlike other mollusks. It is going to take a flight. The sepia, you can say that sepia is not what exactly the pathological sepia picture we are not supposed to build in our mind. So sepia in the um, process of making, what happens, the sepia is very active, very ambitious. They have a target, they have a goal, they have a target, and they want to fly high, they want to go to that target, they want independence. So what happens, the slowly later we will see that the same things, all these kind of instincts are going to be hampered later on. So this is expansiveness and extroversion of sepia is very important. Okay, but evolution, what happens? There is a steady process takes place. it has to be consistent. It has to be persistent. That expansion has to be very steady, consistent, and persistent. If compromised, if that evolution, that process of evolution gets compromised, compromised by violence and protest, the repression will take place and suppression will take place. And the Sepia would like, that personality would like to face the challenge. Once it starts facing the challenge, the pathology will start. So there will be a undermined or repressed state of sepia we will find temperamentally, or sexually, or emotional tendency need on very gradually. It doesn't. It cannot be very. You can say there cannot be any kind of mutation. If mutation happens, rapid transformation happens, the things will shortfall. There will be a shortfall. So any kind of violent or hurried intrusion will invite repression. So they are very much vulnerable to that also. That vulnerability starts from this thing also, that the violence or any kind of hurried intrusion that invites repression. When repressed means sexual plane, it is very much overt, overt. So once the suppression or repression will takes place, there will be cerebrovascular malfunctioning. There has to be stasis. That dynamicity has gone down, the flow has gone down, and now the sepia is in form of a stasis. Its independence is hampered. It is no more very much independent. So how will it affect the body? There will be rigidity, spasticity of voluntary or involuntary muscles or the organs. There will be nerve hyper irritability. Emotional plane also anxiety, restlessness, depression, uncontrollable erratic behavior, unreasonability, etc. etc. Whenever we find that whenever sepia, the patient with sepia pathology comes to our clinic, and we just explore the history, the past history of that particular female, what happens that there is a history of repression. History of repression means they have been suppressed emotionally, they have, their ambition has been curtailed. So what happens in, they go um, in suppressed mode. Suppressed modes means these things will happen. These things will see. Light and dark of sepia. What happens that the sepia, one very important peculiar manifestation is there in its life cycle. When during copulation it reaches to the water surface of the water, and there is an illumination gets emitted, illumination arrows that gets emitted containing inorganic phosphorus. And this phosphorus, just I am mentioning about this inorganic phosphorus, that there is some symptomatology of phosphorus is there in the sepia pathology. Okay. And the phosphorus is also complementary to sepia. So what happens once it goes towards the prey, once it tries to catch the prey, that is most probably crustaceans are there, its prey, very favorite prey. But so what happens, it goes with the siphoning technique, it goes towards it with a very good speed and catches it. And what happens, the just to escape the enemies, it uh, inkjet is passed. Inkjet is passed, and after whenever this illumination arrows are there evident on the surface area, so many other enemies, because of visibility, tries to catch sepia, and sepia, they bluff it and and that ejecting that inkjet, and that inkjet is initially works as an object, and later on it diffuses and makes the cloud. And this inkjet is made up of melanin having calcium salt and sulfur. So later on we will see that this is very evident that the sepia has a very good relationship. Sepia symptoms are also consisting of, they are also consisting of calcium salt and sulfur. So this is there. So light arrows means that the phosphorus, what phosphorus resembles? Phosphorus resembles consciousness, intellect, self-control, general vitality, blood formation, adrenals, that is the hormones of what fear, flight, and fright we say, portal system, respiratory system. With the phosphorus also having the coverage of all these things. So CPI in healthy mode, CPI is healthy mode, they also consist all these characteristics. So this is the region that phosphorus, these reflection of the phosphorus is the region of complementation to phosphorus. This is just we have talked about that aggression or because of any kind of uh, inhibition to the gradual evolution or ambition or whatever its focus, when that gets suppressed, so there is a repression, and repression gravitates on the uterus. Femininity, the repression of femininity means that is the formative source. There only creation takes place. Okay. There only creation takes place. So the creation takes place. That is the motherly principle developed there. That shows that reflect the motherly principle. So motherly ship starts getting sinking. Okay. So there is a repression of femininity. So femininity is underdeveloped. Underdeveloped. Underdeveloped femininity means there are some features of masculinity will be there. So in the mental plane, what happens? The repression of femininity will reflect in nervousness, fidgety, bustling, and opinionated. They are very much opinionated arguer. They argue with their opinion fixed. In the males, what happened? There is underdeveloped feminine faction in males, make him very hard, selfish, egoist, narrow-minded, hysteric, impulsive. These all features, once we just revert it, just opposite of all these symptoms. Hard means kind, selfish means selfish, opposite is kind also, egoistic means extrovert, broad-minded. These are the things that creates motherly principle. So motherly principle is absent in both. So males also, this hardness is very evident, and females also, the underdeveloped femininity is there, means masculinity will be there. The expression of highly individualistic approach versus natural. Just I wanted to say that when we talk about the illumination arrows of the sepia and the inkjet of the sepia, that consists phosphorus, calcium, sulfur, and natrium muriaticum, yani sodium chloride will always be there. So it has some relevance to that also. So, but the natrium muriate sepia usually we discuss together in some aspects like consolation, aggravation, and isolation tendency. Natrium would represent what it does, how it is different in one context. Natrium would represent emancipating force and expressive force of the individual personality. Natrium mood personality isolation is giving her strength. Isolation and consolation aggravation, that gives her strength. Because of that only Natramur thrives. So Natramur isolates itself by inner needs and circumstances. Sepia, that is deliberate withdrawal. Deliberately it withdraws itself, and willful moodiness or vital exhaustion. They are isolating itself because of deliberate withdrawal and very willful moodiness. Mood is very fluctuating. Mood is very upset, just like Wasserwoman's remedy we have explained earlier, in earlier time, and there is a vital exhaustion. Stress versus darkness projection. These individual changes color and get out of the scenario under stress. Whenever there is stress and challenging situation, they try to escape from that place. Okay. It's very important point. When femininity is hold back and melanin cloud manifest of calcium and sulfur. More often in women it is very evident. Melanin जैसा just as we have seen that the melanin is the main component of the inkjet, and from that only the sepia is made, or sepia remedy is made. Melanin as intermediate product of adrenaline. So adrenaline malfunctions ensues. Malfunctioning of adrenaline ensues. So what happens whenever there is this sex determination is there? The determination of sex after fertilization is very much dependent on the majority of one gene. Ovary, testes, hormones are not 100% sex specifics. They're not 100% sex specific. Monads, what it does, it intensifies the preponderance of the sexual determination, and adrenaline promotes opposite. Okay. So we have seen in the corticoadrenal tumors produces feminism in men, masculinism in women. Okay. Was we can have an example of Addison disease, Cushing syndrome. We have seen that what happens in Addison disease when the um, hypofunction is there, and the Cushing syndrome is the hyperfunction is there. You know, so adrenal, what is the that is the gland of aggression. Unbalanced increase. There can be unbalanced increase and unbalanced decreased function of adrenal. When it is in subthreshold degree, that increase in subthreshold degree, there will be aggressiveness of sepia. Decreased function of adrenals, there will be asthenia, general ptosis. General ptosis means all the sagginess, the sagging of all those body functions. General ptosis, hypotension, melanosis. So you can say that it is in the milder Addison's disease manifestation. Milder Addison's disease manifestation. So it's characterized by inner tension and contradictions. So many contradictions is there. Later, later we will see. There is a sphere of creativeness. This sphere of light sphere is there. Light sphere and the sulfur sphere. So we have to consider sepia under these three headings. And these all three combined, we will give rise to all these features. The why sepia will be passionate, irritable, censorious, weepy. It will have self-pity, spiteful, addictive, antagonistic, never happy unless annoying someone loved ones, alternatively sad and gentle, unable to give love and affection, aversion to opposite sex, greed, miser, ego, oversensitive, full of fear. There's so many, it's a wide range of these things because of these elements, that's phosphorus, sulfur, calcium, and its own identity. So what I have tried to throw focus on the uh, inkjet components, that the ink component, that is melanin, phosphorus, calcium, sulfur. This is one of the perspection. So see what is there. Basic contradictory attitude. Basic. Everyone likes sympathy. Everyone likes consolation. Everyone likes company. Everyone likes their family. Everyone have the loved one relations. But what happens here? Under stress, when CPI is under depression or vital fatigue, vital exhaustion, these things takes place. Okay, sympathy aversion, consolation aversion, company aversion, family members aversion, loved one aversion. Through adrenals, what sepia features, that is pigmentation and aging. Just we have seen that the what happens in hyperadrenalism and what happens. So melanin is the intermediary features, intermediary chemicals of adrenal formation. So this is reflecting in this way. Pigmentation and aging, rigid fiber, shallow look, yellow freckles, loss of hair, graying, progeria means premature aging, um, dark red or blonde hair depending on the different geographical region of the country. So hypoadrenalism, what happens? You have to relate it with the ink. Ink of the sepia constituted by melanin. So hypoadrenal functions, that is adynemia, indifference, laziness. Just we have seen, we have gone through our physiology, pharmacology, practice of medicine. Everywhere we have already knowing that what happens in hypoadrenalism and what is hypoadrenal effect in CPM. Adynemia, indifference, laziness, melancholic depression due to vital exhaustion. That's vital exhaustion is very important. Concentration lapse, decreased muscular tone, hypotension, generalized doses, involuntary urination, especially during cough, prolapse of uterus and hemorrhoids, lumbar pain, fatigue. So we all know that the cortisol is the stress hormone that is very anti-inflammatory, blood pressure regulator, regulates sleep cycle, uh, and it follows the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm, every 24 hours there is a uprise and fall of the cortisol. So this level decreases from afternoon to evening until the first half of the sleep, first half of the sleep. And at the same time, when the stress hormone falls and our body difficult, it had difficulty in fighting the stress. Every tuberculosis patient, every chronic disease patient, they get more difficulty in the evening. They get more fever in the evening. So we can relate with this, and the CPR takes control of that also. Okay. And the first half, after first half of the sleep, the stress hormone level starts increasing. The adrenaline level starts increasing, and so this is very much coincident that the level of adrenaline cortisol hormone, the circadian rhythm of the cortisol hormone also is reflected in the sepia aggravation. Okay. Time modality. So again, we have to we are focusing in this heading only. So hyperadrenalism. What happens in hyperadrenalism? The heterosexual tendencies are there. Masculine women with narrow pelvis. When in those female there is a hyperadrenalism there. Body hair will be too much body hair, beard, mustache, deep voice, hirsutism. Okay, and male will be effeminate type of clothes. So negated features of when the motherhood will be challenged, motherhood will be repressed, that negated feature will come forward. That is the role of mother will be compromised. Homosexuality will be there. Frigidity of opposite sex, aversion to husband, aversion to children. These are the negated features. Menstrual disorder, cohabitation, pregnancy disorder, childbirth disorder, aggravation of these are the well indication. We all know that these are the indication we will have while prescribing. See the relation to calcarea. How we relate to calcarea. Calcarea where calcarea is another component of the ink, Sepia succus. So calcarea feature is defenselessness and formlessness. The attack is reflected in puffy, flabby, slow, lazy mind, exertion impossible. Mild people are there, they are lazy people, slow people, exertion becomes impossible, lymphatic, scrofulous, and they suffer from exudative phenomena, allergies, sensitive to cold air, asthma, urticaria, food allergy. These are the features we see in the calcarea car people. And this is here also. That is relation. This is a relation to calcarea in these aspects. But the antithesis of calcarea is also there in sepia. Antithesis means opposite thing. That is obsession, restlessness. That's why we call it. There is an alternate light and dark, um, dark picture of this. Okay. So it is on the we have seen the same phenomena in the life cycle of the sepia. We are seeing in the traits of the sepia. We are seeing the same thing when we relate it to the calcarea car. So obsession, restlessness, vigorous motion, amelioration. This is unlike calcarea car. Gentle mental stimulation with flashes of heat. Spasticity, globus and ball in various parts due to suppression of psychic and sexual impulses. These are the antithesis. What is relation to phosphorus? There will be aggravation in afternoon, evening, before thunderstorms, when it fears alone, eating amelioration, holding amelioration, left side affection. Left side affection is here also, lacks stamina, anemic tendency. So phosphorus, what they need support, they crave for support and they feel better while support. But sepia wants to stay away. Hypersensitivity to odors and stimulating food. Okay. So sulfur hypersensitivity to body odor, sulfur is very much hypersensitive. Phosphorus is very much hypersensitive to the flower odor, and sepia to the food odor of the food. So flower and fruits, the body ingest, body emits odor, and the sepia is hypersensitive to the odor of the food. Food preferences as per sulfur and phosphorus. Sulfur likes spicy or hot foods. Phosphorus salty food, and salty food, but it awakens the mind and consciousness. That is salt, just we have seen in the form of natrium muriaticum. Sepia sour food that symbolizes emotional sour feeling. We just know, we know what is sour feeling. Gravity affects chronicity. So whenever we are seeing, we are looking toward the venous engorgement, what happens? Standing aggravation and lying amelioration. Okay. Opposite modality is what? Rest encourage stasis. What happens? Here what happens? Rest encourage stasis. Exercise stimulates the circulation. Exercise ameliorates and work from rest and sleep. These are the opposite modality. When we go towards the respiratory affection, congestion, stasis, hypostatic pleurisy is very much common. Cough agit from the stomach, egg-like taste of the cough, expectoration, worse evening and night and sleep. Just seeing that goes well with the um, circadian rhythm of the cortisol. Better from rapid motion and tubercular, that it is calcium as phosphorus dynamism. It's very much in very much similar to the tubercular diathesis of calcium and phosphorus. That is very much inherent in CPI, you can say. So the theme of CPI is that stasis, mental stasis. That is dullness, cannot think, confuted, withdrawn, alone desire, indifference, lacks the will to communicate, very much defensiveness, blurred thinking, overwhelmed by sadness. And the physical status is more on circulation, constipation, bearing down sensation, great lack of energy. These are the physical location. The location is what organ specificity, these things: venous circulation, digestive, portal system, female genital system, nerve, skin, left side, affection is there. Just we have taken the book from Tyler. That's a Wasserwoman's remedy, and the Wasserwoman's 17th, 18th century term, when all the women of the society come together and washes the laundry and all. Those days are very hectic, and just picturization of a homemaker mother is there. They have three small kids of different kind of features. Suppose one son is a chamomilla son, chicken, someone is a sina son, or different kind of three small kids are there. She has a wife, she has a maid, and she is on the washing day she is frustrated. She is cooking, she is cleaning, she is washing the laundry, she is doing everything. Kids are disturbing her a lot. Husband is demanding, maid is trying to help console her, and everything makes her in a chaotic state, makes her in a very chaotic state. She wants to get a sleep for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that will be over. But that is not a possibility. She started sleeping. She starts sitting in the chair with her leg crossed and all. So as soon everything is sagging. Okay. So now she prepares herself to neglect their kids, neglect her husband. So she cannot take it more. That is a vital exhaustion is there. You know. So no regrets. She is not paying much more attention to the kids, indifference to the kid, different to the husband. She is fed up with all these things. She would like to go out. She would like to go out for a outdoor work. She want to earn money. Her ambition is staying that gets. She want to break loose, break free, and she wants to have a very good career. She wants to be there. She wants to work. She wants to get occupied, but not in these circumstances. She wants to get away from the home and goes outside and find her individuality. So this is a typical case of sepia we find every now and then. And but to know the sepia, we have to know in the prior history by her attendant and who has observed her since childhood. So sepia doesn't become a patient in a few days or a few weeks. It takes it's a long time, it's a slow process of building up a sepia in a very chronic cases. So female versus male, 10 is to 1 ratio is there. We find the patient, male patients are few. Hormonal dysfunction, wherever you see hormonal dysfunction and coincide with the features of sepia, we have to think about it. Premenstrual tension. Premenstrual tension is very important. The VP, moody, melancholic, and all those things. Postpartum tension after delivery. After delivery, also the different kind of depressive mode of the mother before, during, and after menses. Ailment from pill. This was very much common in the previous decades, not now. The pills were used so much, and when they take pill, it creates a sepia-like state. After taking the pill, it created sepia-like state, and that's why we take ailment from pill. Pill has a very small dishormonogenesis, and there are other hormonal effect it brings about. So prolapses, menarche, menopause, pregnancy, abortion, hormone therapies. When we see the patient under hormone therapy, we are to be very alert. Indifference, apathy, homemaker depression, aversion, family, the female who want to divorce her husband. ठीक है ना? तो in that way sepia can in the proper that the husband when a husband a man marries a very sepia in very healthy state, and that she becomes vitally exhausted, and she will become all those melancholic, BP, moody, indifferent to the kids and all. The husband gets frustrated, and in that moment, that particular moment, if you prescribe sepia to the female, the children will get their mother, the husband will get his wife, and we can help the society in a big thing, in big way. So this we can be protector of the relationship. Relationships we can protect. So some notes are there. I just wanted to tell you about some features so that how can we differentiate phosphorus, natramur, and sepia. This is very common. There is a lot of confusion between phosphorus, natramur, and sepia. So when we take sympathetic means phosphorus is sympathetic, but natramur and sepia are not sympathetic. Okay? Who hates sympathy? Sepia hates sympathy. Natramur don't like sympathy, and phosphorus craves for sympathy. Means craving for sympathy is there for phosphorus. Who feels better alone? Natramur and sepia. They feel better alone. Phosphorus does never. Who craves salt? Phosphorus and natramur, they have craving for salt. Sepia don't have craving for salt. Who loads fat? Sepia loads fat. Natrum loads fat. Phosphorus has no problem with the fat. Who becomes worse during cold? Phosphorus becomes worse in the cold. Who are chilly but better with cold? Natrum is chilly but better with cold. Sepia is not better with cold. Who feared thunderstorm? Phosphorus feared thunderstorms and sepia also feared thunderstorm. So these are some differentiating point of phosphorus, natrum, and sepia. So I want to end this because I have to move somewhere out of the town. So I was in a hurry and sorry for a bit awkward presentation from my side. And anyway, thank you very much and good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So that means that now you are leaving from the Zoom session. We'll be here for, or you are leaving.
Yeah, I'm leaving right now. I have to go out of the town, out of the city. So I'm very sorry.
Okay, sir. Okay. If you want to go,
I was
means
a bit hurried and a bit unorganized today. So I'm sorry for that.
okay, sir. Okay. Then,
Got it.
and it was a wonderful presentation because everyone knows Sepia, but your perspective and your presentation is different. I was thinking about many are other doctors are taking other medicine. Even Sepia also once we discussed. I think Dr. Guru Kiran or someone took the class, but while viewing from each one's perspective, it is different. We are getting different. For a single medicine, we are viewing from different side. Likewise, it is wonderful. And for giving vote of thanks, I'm inviting you, Grace, Dr. Gracia. Will you give vote of thanks? Okay. Okay, I'll unmute you. She hand raised, but where are you, doctor? Can you hand raise? I think doctor has. Anyway, I couldn't find you out. Anyway, doctor also left, I think. Okay, thank you so much on behalf of IFPH. And now we have 10 minutes for discussion, 9 minutes for discussion. So if anyone wants to say any comment about the class, or if you want to discuss more about the class or any other subject, we will have a discussion here, please. Dr. Ram Parvesh Shah. Hello, sir.
Thank you, Dr. G, Madam. Sepia, Dr. S. Kharari, very nice presentation. Sepia is a very good remedy for ladies, treatment, hormonal treatment. Difference Sepia difference between phosphorus, natrium, and calcarea ka very good describe, beautiful describe Dr. S. Kharari. Sepia hormonal disbalance disease, plasma, etc. Sepia Dr. Sepia cross leg to Dr. This Kharari is described and Basserman, etc. Very, very thanks, Dr. Kharari and Dr. Ali. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And any of the participants, if you have any more points about the Sepia, also we can discuss here. If you have cases, if you have to say about your cases in Sepia, also we can discuss. We have 7 minutes more to discuss. Anyone come forward and say something about Sepia? Dr. Emma Devi Ambadi. I think she have. Dr. Emma Devi Ambadi. You will have more experience. Okay.
In my opinion, Sepia is having some inferiority complex. To compensate it, she is doing more work. She wants to please everybody. She knows that she has got she don't have any feminine character as well as form. By appearance itself, she is not good. She knows it. But to impress her husband as well as the others, she works more than her ability. Then she becomes tired and get frustrated. I think so. And moreover, that's why she is having that the dancing mood when thunderstorm comes. When it is lightning and the thunderstorm is she used to dance like anything because that is her frustration going out. Anybody had noted that?
That is because of the frustration or to hide her feelings?
Yeah, I know, because of her frustration as well as she's expressing it.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Okay, okay.
That's why she is having more backache and all. Because she is than her proportionate to her health, she is doing more work only to impress others. That's right. That is my Sepia.
Thank you, madam. Because as you told, the appearance of Sepia is not feminine, but to act more.
She knows that. She wants to be impressed by her husband as well as her relatives. So she works so hard.
So working hard makes her tired. Makes her tired.
And she gets frustrated. She becomes frustrated.
Yeah, yeah.
That is in that okay.
Yeah. Thank you, madam, because you have explained like a procedure. Because of that, she's doing this. Because of doing this, she's getting pain. Likewise, the way you expressed Sepia, no one forgets. Thank you so much, madam.
Okay, thank you.
And anyone else? Okay, now it is the time for the Malayalam section. Actually, today's our Dr. Shaila joined. Thank you all the participants for your participation, and thank you Dr. Shivendra Kharari for taking the class. And Dr. Shivendra Kharari has already left. He has to go somewhere. But even though in his busy schedule, he took the class for us. And Thank you, Dr. Lalitambika Ambadi, for sharing your knowledge with us. And now it is the time for the Malayalam session. Normally, we are taking your 2 or 3 minutes extra. Now I am giving 2 minutes. Now I'm giving the loan back. Dr. P. Shaila, you're welcome.
Dr. Anjani, Sepia, 2 and 3 minutes before
English section over.
Dr. Anjani, great sadness of Sepia, great Sepia remedy, the great sadness.
Sadness, yeah.
Sadness, great and constitution, lean and thin constitution.
Okay.
Sepia remedy and chilly patient.
Yes, sir.
Chilly patient. So Sepia remedy, harmonious disbalance, plasma in face due to disturbance of hormones. Chin, yani horse-like chin, harmonious disturbance Sepia. And
Anyway,
prolapse
sir,
of rectum, prolapse
anyway,
of
one single
rectum
Sepia
due
from
to
different view, different doctors. We are getting many, many different views from different persons.
prolapse of uterus due to cross leg
Each one
sitting,
have-
and is a very good objective symptom.
Yeah, of
Sepia,
course. And
very objective symptom, cross like leg sitting and plasma in face and lean and thin and great sadness. Sepia is a
okay,
very
thank you,
good
sir.
symptom.
I told her I am giving her before 2 minutes. Now it is the time for the Malayalam session. Thank you everyone for joining with us. And thank you Ram Parvesh sir and Lalitambika Ambadi for your extra comments regarding Sepia. Thank you so much and good night everyone.
Thank you.
Dr. P. Shaila, I am welcoming you to moderate Malayalam session, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rajini. Thank you, Dr. Ram Parvesh sir. Thank you all doctors in English session.